Hey guys, welcome back to my info content. I'm Carcel and Beans. Today, I've decided I'm going to rank all of the wide receiver core, and so I know this is one that a lot of people are gonna get mad at, but I figured I should go ahead because people have been saying, "Oh, you don't watch football. Oh, you don't actually know anything." Can you hear this? I have written down all of the stats and a lot of other notes, and I go through these things and I look at them and then I rank them. And I know the first two of these are probably going to surprise a lot of you people. No one is going to... by the way, I'm going from last to best, from worst to best. So I guess we should go ahead and get started. There's so many notes I have to... Oh, God. Yeah, 32. The Eagles. I already know. Everyone's getting mad. And by the way, these have nothing to do with this has nothing to do with how well the quarterbacks are. This has nothing to do with this is just like how well the wide receivers play. Like if all NFL teams had like all the other players were the exact same players with the exact same skill level, and it was just the wide receivers, I think the Eagles would be in last. Okay, and let me find my notes on them. It's over here. So here's the deal with the Eagles. Yes, they have Alshon Jeffrey. Yes, Deshaun Jackson. And Deshaun Jackson, he did pretty good last year, but Alshon Jeffrey didn't really do the best. I just think that compared to all the other NFL teams, they're the worst. I mean, that's all I really have to say. I mean, this has nothing to do with tight ends either. I'm gonna do a separate video on tight ends. So if you're gonna talk about tight ends, then do it in that video. I mean, for all I know, their tight ends are number one. I'm just saying their wide receivers right now, which their top three that I looked at were Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, and Jalen Reagor, aren't the best. I'm sorry. They're pretty good. No team in the NFL really has a bad wide receiver core. All right, so this next one is also going to surprise you. Probably this is going to be a long video. This next one is also probably going to surprise you. I did the Packers next. All right, now this one, you got to give me, there's some leeway here. Devin Funchess, he didn't do very well for the Colts while he was there. Allen Lazard, he was meh. Devontae Adams, he's a good receiver. He just wasn't the best. He didn't get 1,000 yards. None of their receivers got 1,000 yards last year that are still on the team this year. Aaron Rodgers is a very good quarterback, and I think if his wide receivers are struggling and like not being top notch with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback, I think that's really a problem. Okay, I think they didn't do anything in the draft about it. So really, it's just going to all lay on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders. And then this is when it starts to, make sense. In 30, we have the Giants. All right. Now, here's what I thought about the Giants. They really only have two main wide receivers, Darius Slayton and Golden Tate. And both of them are men. Both of them, everyone knows their names, but really, it was probably more to do with Daniel Jones being bad than the wide receivers being bad. But if you're hearing that, my brother's trying to get in my room. But I just think, Golden Tate is. They both could be good, but I don't think that they're the best. So 30th, these aren't bad. Okay, no team, like I said, no team really has a bad wide receiver core. In 29th, we have the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, they've got Devontae Parker, right? And that's about it, okay? They've got Devontae Parker. So,
hey, Carson.
Give me a second. Sorry about that. The Dolphins, they're just not standing out to me, okay? And, Preston Williams, he did okay. They've really only got Devontae Parker out there, wide receiver, and the rest of them. To be a good team in this league, you need to have more than one okay receiver, and right now that's really all they have in Devontae Parker. In 28th, I have the Bears. And by the way, this has nothing to do with how good the team is. Like I said before, this is just a wide receiver core. I could have like the Ravens up here. I don't remember. I could have like the Ravens up here at 32, and they're still one of the best. All right, the Bears, just like another team. Ted Ginn Jr. He's getting. I mean, he was good, but now like he's been in the league for long, bouncing between teams. I mean, the Bears, it's just not good. Yeah, I mean, Allen Robinson is pretty good, but like I said with the Dolphins, you really need to have more than like one guy, and they need to start looking for people. And they got Ted Ginn Jr., and after the trade this year, somehow they picked him up. Yeah, I just don't know how. All right, and then they have the Lions going to the same division, and they got Kenny Galladay, they've got Danny Amendola, and I mean Marvin Jones as well. And all three of them are pretty good. It's just, I mean, I'm looking at their numbers right here. I mean, they're not looking too good. Marvin Jones, I mean, Danny Amendola needs to really step up. Kenny Galladay needs to keep on doing what he's doing. They all three really need to step up. Then we have the Patriots. And before you start commenting about how garbage this thing is, if this whole thing really is about whether N'Keal Harry is going to step up in his second year. He only had 12 catches last year, and in those 12 catches, he did have 2 touchdowns. And that really has nothing to do with how good he is. That has more to do on the position that... why is it all the way up there? The position that the team was in whenever he made those catches. And really... to me, they have Julian Edelman, but they can't just rely on Julian Edelman. They're going to need N'Keal Harry to step up. They're going to need Mohamed Sanu to step up. They're going to need somebody to step up for Jared Stidham, or this team is going to be completely reliant on defense. All right? Now, on 25th, we have the Ravens, another one that I think a lot of people are going to get mad at me about. But look, they had Hollywood Brown, and he still didn't get 600 yards, okay? They have a great quarterback, but, I mean, when their top wide receiver only got 46... their top wide receiver that is still on the team only got 46 catches last year, that's not very good. I mean, they're like another team. They only have one pretty good wide receiver, and Hollywood Brown is a great wide receiver. And, but, I mean, he was really good that first week. We're going to have to see if he's going to be good this year. All right, in 24, we have the Chargers. And the Chargers, where are they? All right, the Chargers, I mean, we're getting into pretty okay. I mean, these were, like, pretty below average. We're getting into, like, the average range. There's a big average range. Most teams are average in this league. The Chargers are kind of, like, on the lower level of that average. And they've got Keenan Allen. They've got 2,000-yard receivers from last year. But then they've got Andre Patton. And I don't know if he was injured or what, but he only got 6 catches last year. So if Andre Patton can step up this year, and I mean, heck, even like they could be okay. They got 2 good wide receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. If Andre Patton steps up and plays well, then they could be a force to fight with. All right, in 23, we have the Colts. Again, this is like the lower level of average. They got T.Y. Hilton. They've got Michael Pittman. They've got Paris Campbell. And really, they don't really have 2 great... none of these teams have really had a great wide receiver. But T.Y. Hilton is definitely one that could start doing better. Paris Campbell is... he didn't do very good last year. They drafted Michael Pittman or signed, I don't know, rookie Michael Pittman. It's going to be interesting to see how he works out in the NFL. He didn't play too well he actually played pretty well in his last season in college. 101 catches, 11 TDs. It's gonna if that translates into the NFL, the Colts could shoot up on these rankings. Of course, I'm not gonna do these week by week. It would take It would take an insane amount of work that I don't know if I could possibly do on 24 hours. All right, 22, we have the Chiefs. I'm putting a lot of good teams up here. A lot of these teams are good simply because their quarterbacks were good. I'm trying to find the Chiefs on here. Don't have it organized very well. I've got all the stats for every single NFL team and all of their great receivers. I mean, they do. I mean, they've got Sammy Watkins, I think. I'm sorry, I just can't find the Chiefs. I swear I put the Chiefs on here somewhere. Oh, there they are. Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins. Those are two names you know instantly. They didn't have two 1,000-yard receivers either, but they had a lot of receptions, 58 and 52. And I mean, they had 7 TDs, 3 TDs, 6 TDs. I forgot to mention McCole Hardman's up there too. And, I mean, this is a team that's primed for success. 22 is a bit low, but that's where I have them. 21, we have the Titans, another team that a lot of people probably thought that I was going to put higher just because I think they are probably the best team maybe in the whole league right now. The thing is, they got A.J. Brown, who was a rookie last year. He did great last year, but if he steps up insanely, then he could become one of the great wide receivers. Adam Humphries, he only had a 10.1 average per catch every single time he got the ball. It was 10.1 average. That's not very good. I mean, when you're only hitting 374 yards and 37 receptions, that's not very good. Corey Davis, another one that's pretty good. I think a lot of these Titans wide receivers, it's going to depend a lot on how well the quarterback plays. So, we'll see. All right, we have the Texans next. They took a huge hit whenever they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. They did get Brandon Cooks from the Rams, but that's not going to help them. I mean, they've got Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, Kenny Stills. And, I mean, those are good names. Where it's going to be, if Brandon Cooks can do better, I think, I think Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than, I can't remember. I'm forgetting a lot. I'm blanking on a lot of people's names. Whatever. The Rams quarterback, I can't remember his name. I know how well he plays, though. I think that the Texans have a better quarterback than the Rams, and I think Brandon Cooks can really expand on that and get better. Kenny Stills definitely could. I mean, Brandon Cooks only had 2 it's going to all hinge on Brandon Cooks this season. 19, we have the Steelers. Now, this is still average. We're getting to, this is, near the top of average. We have the Steelers. They got Juju Smith-Schuster. They got James Washington. They got Deontay Johnson. 3 good names. So, right now, what they have, they don't really have any bad wide receivers. They don't really have any good wide receivers. They have 3 pretty above average guys for the NFL playing, but really, you look at their numbers, they're getting 59 catches, 44 catches, 42 catches, and 59 catches and 680 yards, that's not very good. 44 catches and 735 yards, that's pretty good. But they're a pretty average team. All right, 18, we have the Raiders. Pretty high up here from what I'm seeing. The Raiders, let's look. I made a lot of these decisions an hour ago, and now I can't. Okay. Tyrell Williams, Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow. Henry Ruggs is a rookie, and a lot of these teams with rookies on them are I see rookies as good. I mean, if you're drafted, I think rookies have a lot of potential, and that's good for the Raiders. They have a nice young team. Hunter Renfrow, everyone knows him. Henry Ruggs, though, he didn't have the best season in college. If he had a great season in college, I think the Raiders may be all the way up in 10 or something. When you have 49 catches. Wait, no, sorry, wrong person. When you have... Yeah, he didn't do too well. Anyways, The Jaguars pretty high up here. They are almost above average, but really they're just not above average. They got DJ Chark, D.D. Westbrook, Chris Conley. All three. I mean, DJ Chark, no one's talking about him that I've seen at least. DJ Chark is pretty freaking good. He had 8 touchdowns last year. 73 catches, which I guess isn't okay. The Chris Conley, he had a 17-yard average for reception, and he had a nice long 70-yard reception. D.D. Westbrook, I mean, that dude's just a beast. He doesn't have a very good average, only at 10 yards per catch, but that's good enough to get you to 17th. All right, 16. This is as high as you can get. They're not quite above average, but they are very, very close to it. We have the Browns. They've got Odell Beckham. They got Jarvis Landry, and those two are amazing, great. But then you got Rashard Higgins, and that guy doesn't seem to be very good. I mean, they've really only got two great. They've got 2 good wide receivers, but I think you need to have 3 competent wide receivers. And Rashard Higgins is pretty how do I say it? Complete trash. Jarvis Landry, Odell, they've been looking meh. And I mean 16, that's pretty good for the Browns. All right, Bengals. Now we're getting to the above average. They are very close to being just, average, but I'm going to have them at above average. That's because they've got, AJ Green, who is a beast. They've got Tyler Boyd, who is looking to be amazing. And then they drafted T. Higgins, who had an average of 20 yards per reception. Now, even if that cuts in half, that's an average NFL receiver. So I think that's going to transfer over easily to the NFL. They're going to be helping out Joe Burrow very much. But I do have some concerns. AJ Green, he's okay. I mean, I just said he's great, but I mean, if he keeps on slowing down throughout his years, he's going to start becoming, it has been. All right. So now you go to 14, the 49ers, all right? They're all the way up here. One of the reasons a lot of people there was this one guy I remember getting mad at me, trying to tell me that he thinks everyone is he told me he thinks everyone should have an opinion, but that mine is wrong. Like, what? He's like, "Oh, the 49ers have no good players." Dude, let me show you. The 49ers, they got Deebo Samuel, they got Brandon Ayuk, they got Kendrick Bourne. All 3 of them are pretty, except for Kendrick Bourne. I mean, Deebo Samuel is a great wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk is also pretty good. I think if Kendrick Bourne had gotten, in 30 catches, he had 5 TDs. If they just send the ball his way some more, this team is looking to explode off the map. This wide receiver core. The team has already exploded off the map. They made it to the Super Bowl and they were up by 10 in the late fourth. They've already exploded off the map. And 13, we have the Vikings. Everyone was waiting for them. Adam Thielen is really the only top wide receiver they have that's returning. They drafted Justin Jefferson, which everyone is saying might be the best rookie wide receiver there's going to be. And then they also got Tage Sharp. Is that how you say that? I don't know. I think, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson are really going to be carrying this team. Tage Sharp is really what's holding their wide receiver core down. I think, if they drafted Justin Jefferson, and that could potentially send them farther into the playoffs than just the divisional round. This team could potentially be a Super Bowl contender. I think they probably will be. All right, in 12, we have the Jets. All right. Now, we're getting out of the above average range, and I think the Jets are like the best above average team, and then we're going to start getting into good. All right, the Jets, Jamison Crowder, they got him from the Redskins last year. He's good. And then they got Rashad Perriman. They got him from some other team. I don't remember. And they drafted Denzel Mims. And Denzel Mims is going to help immensely with this offense. If Sam Darnold is going to take the reins of this team and start putting up numbers, Denzel Mims is not going to hurt. Denzel Mims is going to be a blessing to Jets fans. All right, now the first good team we have are the Panthers. Now, I know I said that I thought their offense was complete doo-doo, but I was talking about their quarterback situation. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be good this year. I was talking about their tight end situation. Their wide receiver situation is actually, it's not bad. They've got DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and they got Robbie Anderson from the Jets. Robbie Anderson, though, he was probably one of the best on the Jets, but again, it's the Jets. And, DJ Moore is great, one of the best. He's a pretty good wide receiver. He's been in Carolina for a bit. Curtis Samuel, he's another one. Yeah. Robbie Anderson, though, he had a 15-yard average receiving. But also, you're going to look at DJ Moore, one of the reasons that they're just at 11th. He had 87 catches, right, and only 4 touchdowns. And I know earlier I said, a lot of it has to do with where your team is on the field. But when you're getting 87 catches, you'd think you'd have more than 4, even if the Panthers, did terrible. All right, in 10th, we have the Falcons, NFC South to NFC South. This is another team that I think their wide receiver core is great, but they just... they've got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and then they've got Russell Gage, who had 49 catches and 1 touchdown. And, whenever you got Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, I could see why you wouldn't pass to a guy named Russell Gage. Julio Jones, really, if he plays bad, this whole team might be tanking to, inside the 5. In the draft, might be top 5 pick. The Falcons, 10th. Y'all have a good wide receiver core. All right? And in 9th, we have the Seahawks. Dang, this video is long. If you're still watching, you are a legend. All right, in the Seahawks, we got... We're getting up to we're still in good, but we are about to enter very good territory. I don't know why I'm sectioning them off like this. The Seahawks, they got Tyler Lockett, they got DK Metcalf, and they got Philip Dorsett from somewhere. And I'm gonna be honest, all 3 of those are good wide receivers. Philip Dorsett, he had 397 yards last year. If he does that again, they might be a little worse than 9th. That's why I have them at 9th right now. They are very close to being very good. And speaking of very good, we have the Cardinals. I did not expect them to be all the way up here. But here's the deal. DeAndre Hopkins helped them. Probably sent them from 17th all the way up to 8th. DeAndre Hopkins is a star in this league. I don't know why the heck you would trade that. Why would you trade away DeAndre Hopkins? You saw how low the Texans were, and you see how high the Cardinals are. If they use him correctly and Kyler Murray steps up, DeAndre Hopkins could explode and become even better in Arizona than he was in Houston. It's just the Cardinals, they got Christian Kirk, who I have never really heard of. Larry Fitzgerald's getting old. So, they've got a few more seasons where they've got Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins. And then after that, both of those have been in the NFL for a while. I do think DeAndre Hopkins has a few more, he probably has 5 more years in him. But I think we're nearing the end of Larry Fitzgerald's career. If Fitzgerald doesn't end his career in Arizona, I will be amazed. He has stuck by them through the worst crap, and he has always been a good wide receiver. It's insane. 7th, we have the Redskins. A lot of people are not gonna like the fact that I have the Redskins all the way up here. Okay, but keep in mind, just because a team is all the way up here doesn't mean you're good. The team that I have at number 1, I don't think they're very good, but they have amazing wide receivers. I mean, look, Terry McLaurin, he had 58 receptions, 919 yards, 7 touchdowns as a rookie last year. He's going to blow up this year. Dwayne Haskins is probably going to... Okay, it has nothing to do with the quarterbacks. I got to remember that. He's going to be very necessary for this team to do anything. Steven Sims, he in the last few games, last year, he really started to stand out. And that's going to... I think his overall stats aren't too good, but whenever you actually look at game by game, he got better. I mean, he started getting he exploded onto the scene in the last 2 games. I mean, even in that game when they got blown out by the Cowboys, he was very, very good. He was the only good part of that team. And then we got Kelvin Harmon, who only had 30 catches. If Kelvin Harmon was as good as McLaurin and Sims, I mean, if he was up there like that, I think the Redskins could have taken number 1 spot. But I mean, Harmon, he had no touchdowns, 30 catches. And I mean, I know you're thinking, no, that's not that bad. But I mean, Sims had 34 catches and 4 TDs. He's holding them down. I mean, he's a good wide receiver, but he's not very good. All right, then we have the Buccaneers all the way up here. They're providing Tom Brady with some weapons right now. They are giving him all the weapons they possibly can. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, it's insane. 2 amazing. I mean, Chris Godwin last year, 1,333 yards, 16. I mean, look at these. So Mike Evans, 17 yards per reception. Chris Godwin, 16 yards per reception. Scott Miller, 15 yards per reception. And that was with Jameis Winston. You put Tom Brady in there, they could get 58 times better. But this is just looking at this is the very good teams right here. Very good wide receiver course. And I mean, really, this is a wide receiver core that could potentially, win. They could challenge the Saints. All right, and this is the top of the This is about the top of very good. We're gonna be getting into elite, top of the line perfection after this. And the Rams, they got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Josh Reynolds. Not Josh Reynolds. He only had 21 catches, but he had 16 yards per reception, and he had 326 yards and the touchdown. So he is he's working out there. He's pulling his weight. All right. I mean, Cooper Kupp, everyone knows who Cooper Kupp is. 10 touchdowns last year, over 1,000 yards. As Robert Woods, their wide receiver core is amazing. All right, and then we're getting to very good. We have the Bills, and of course they're gonna need to have a very good wide receiving core. They had John Brown, Cole Beasley, and then they brought in Stephon Diggs, and that sent them so far. Stephon Diggs, one of the best. He might have been the best on the Vikings. The Vikings wouldn't have been at 15th. They would have been all the way up here at elite, top of the line. I mean, Cole Beasley, 778 yards. John Brown, 1,060 yards. Stephon Diggs, 1,130 yards. Stephon Diggs had 18 yards per reception last year. This team is just amazing. I mean, really. All right? I'm amazed that they didn't go any higher. But why don't you take a look at these teams? The Broncos. Ooh, I can already hear it, everyone. Why did you make the Broncos go 3-13? I remember when I put them. You're so garbage. That video has 1 like, 5 dislikes. Everyone hated me for making the Broncos do badly. Look. Drew Lock. Trash. But Cortland Sutton. Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. I mean, Cortland Sutton was great last year, and they got 2 rookies, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, coming in here. Why does it always take me back up to the Jets? Can I go back down to where I was, please? I don't even care anymore. I know nobody in their right mind is going to be still watching. If you are, then let me know. All right. I mean, you look, KJ Hamler, 16. He had 16 yards average per reception. Jerry Jeudy had 10 touchdowns. This team, this wide receiver core is going to be great. It's a huge waste of talent that they're on the Broncos. If this team had like any other quarterback, really, the Broncos could take off. But I mean, Drew Lock, nah. We have the Saints. Ooh, when you have a team with Michael Thomas who almost had 2,000 receiving yards, and then they go out, then they already have Traquan Smith who had 13 average yards, which isn't the best, but it's very good. And then you have Emmanuel Sanders brought in, who, I don't understand. He went off the Broncos, and then he went off the 49ers. Now he's back on the Saints. This wide receiver core is just amazing. All right, and then the number one, as a Redskins fan, this hurts. I have the Cowboys. I can't argue with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. That is just absolute 3 different 1,000 yards. No, 1,100 yards at least. You have Amari Cooper at 1,189 yards and 8 touchdowns. Michael Gallup at 1,107 yards, 6 touchdowns. And then in college, CeeDee Lamb had 1,300 in his last year, 327 yards, 14 touchdowns, and get this, 21 yards per reception. Michael Gallup had 17 yards per reception. Amari Cooper, 15. This team is another big waste of talent, but it's not as big as the Broncos because, look, the reason this team was like 8-8 last year was simply because of this amazing wide receiver core. They weren't really going to be. Ezekiel Elliott's okay. They weren't really being helped out by their defense. Dak Prescott definitely wasn't helping them. This wide receiver, the Cowboys are just top of the line. You want to have a wide receiver core like the Cowboys. And the fact that they have such an amazing, the best wide receiver core in the entire league, and are still probably only going to go .500 barely, it just shows you how much the rest of their team needs to rebuild. I'm just telling you right now, the Cowboys have, not by far, but they do have the best wide receiver core. All right? See ya.